More story time. Yay! Part 3, The Golden Age. Let's go back. I'm 16 years old and I'm handed the book Tales of Power by Carlos Castaneda. These are the first steps on my shamanic path. I start out by extracting lessons from the conversations between Carlos and Don Juan. I introduce these concepts into my life and start seeing positive results immediately. After leaving the church, aka God, my connection with the spirit was being reestablished. I became more in touch with my life decisions, and I had a new level of self-confidence. And for a young man who doesn't have a father figure present in his life, this is very important. My life path becomes clear, and I learned to have a new regard for life and death as a whole. In snowboarding, it's really important to be aware of life and death at all times because they're all around you all the time there. It's good to be aware of them, but not afraid of them, and to be aware from a space of humility and respect. Snowboarding, blended with shamanism, allowed me to be in touch with the soul of the mountain, the snow, the trees, the spirits that live in the trees. I began to take inventory of my life. I'm at a crossroads between a path of darkness and a path of light. On one hand, I'm not working, I've just dropped out of school. I'm smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, drinking weekly, and experimenting with all kinds of different drugs. On the other hand, I'm being offered a free bus pass to Park City, where I can go snowboarding for 3 more weeks because the season has ended here in Montana. Not only does this turn out to be an extremely wise decision, it turns out to change my life forever. After the season ended in Park City, myself and 2 friends that I just met embark on a road trip that would take us 6 weeks, and we would go through 6 vehicles to get from Park City, Utah to Mount Hood, Oregon, so we could snowboard all summer and live in the forest. Despite the challenge we had to overcome to get there, it was completely worth it. That was the best summer of my life. That following season, I came back to Park City. I came back to Mount Hood again for the next summer, where I got to live in the woods for 4 months. I spent most of my days without any shoes on. I spoke to the trees, I spoke to the animals, and I could feel the life force energy pulsing through me every single day. It was electric. I had no electronic devices. I worked 2 days a week. I was snowboarding every day. My friends and I had created a communal camp with 15 of us. The only deadlines we had were to get food, water, and wood for the fire before the sun set. That was it. This is where, instead of reading about my shamanic practice, I got to be in my shamanic practice. We were living the definition of freedom. After 2 years of cycling back and forth, living on the road, stopping at all different resorts and working different jobs, we came back to Park City where I fell in love. I turned from a competing snowboarder into a snowboard instructor, got married, and had my son. At the time, I was working as a waiter and selling things I shouldn't have on the side. When I knew I was going to be a father, I realized I was going to have to look him in the face someday and tell him what I do for a living, and that's not what I wanted it to be. So I enrolled in graphic design school in career college. We had a newborn son, I had an internship, full-time school, and I was running my clothing company. I was newly married and I couldn't be happier. It seemed as if I had overcome all of the odds of my upbringing and created the life that I wanted. I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't a little nervous to become a father, based on my family situation growing up. I had no idea how to be a father. All I knew was not to raise my son like my father had raised me, and I had vowed to raise him with the love, care, and support I needed growing up. At this exact moment, everything in my life is perfect. Part 4 up next.